Okay, y'all, what up? It's Wednesday, April 15th. Taxes are due. But before we pay our taxes, we gotta give a shout out to the homie Treese who just got her funded account. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
She called me in tears the other day, man. I was so happy for that lady, man. Oh my gosh, she was at work doing praise dances and stuff,
I
man.
sure was. Sure was.
I am not mad at that, man. That's what's up, man. I'm proud of you. You have been grinding. You've been putting it work in, man, and it's definitely paying off, man.
Yeah.
So,
I can't thank you enough. I can't thank everybody else who show up and drop their nuggets, they gems. This
hey,
group is just
man.
amazing. So thank you, Corey. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, man. You've been grinding, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm just now it's time to go ahead and work on that buffer, work on that payout, and then it's you got to get the next one. You got to get the next one.
Go for the next one. Yes, sir.
Because Shanika put up the big numbers, man. She got a meal. I think Wale got a meal in Capital. So you gotta come on, man. We waiting on you.
I'm coming on. I'm coming with the meal. I'm coming with it.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, all right. So let me since we were talking about it before we got on, I want to go over trades from this week, right? And what one of the things that came up in my notes, right? So what I added was I added this my pre-market playbook, right? And in my pre-market playbook, right, I found two setups, right? And this was on the 14th. So this was Tuesday. I found two setups. And in my setups, right? Let me go to it. In the pre-market was um going into the session, S&P broke out the overnight, right? We took the daily high. No, I take that back. Let's go over today first, because today was kind of crazy. Let's do that. I take that back. So in going over today's trade, this was like a B plus setup, but it was not like a clean setup, right? And I say that because it's one of the most recent times that I've seen where we had ES and VIX not going in the same direction. And that
Yeah,
was
yeah. I
that
was
was
looking
kind
that
of
time too. Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of a red flag on today.
Mm-hmm.
They hold on, let me find the cursor so I can why didn't that open up? Cursor. Let's see. Okay. So we had like in the pre-market, right? And in pre-market, we took both sides of liquidity, right? Because we had this low, well, we had this high first that was in London, this London high. And then we had the low from pre-market. It swept all of the range. So we were just ranging inside of here, right? And then we had, order block here, fair value gap here, coming in on the lower time frames. And then we swept the high again right before the market opened up around 8. There was no news. This came because Trump sent out a random tweet about China, right? So this caused there was a fair value gap here. There was an order block here. There was another order block here. There was a fair value gap here. Then we could have used this wick. So anything that we would like, anything I was looking for in pre-market, it swept it on the downside and it swept it on the upside. And then it just kind of stalled out. But when this stalled out, right? We stalled out on MES on S&P, but not on VIX. On VIX, we flushed, right? We flushed the market. We sold off right here at the same time. And during that same time, we were just stalling. And then the market opened up, it popped up, it took the high. But at this point, we stalled out over here. And we didn't make the equivalent moves that would have caused for a big swing like this on ES and on NQ. And then eventually we we had a bullish fair value gap. We traded through it on this down move right here, came back to the daily low, opening price. We set this temporary low at 17 oh at not 17 but 7,003 right off the daily, and then we just bounced up and traded back through this bearish fair value gap and then closed above it. And that was the only setup that I really took this week, was basically after we traded through and we went ahead and traded above. But even at this low, it was this high. And then let me actually go to it on the chart, right? So at this high right here, you can see that normally this high right here should have been lined up with probably this low, or we should have been pushing up while this was happening, but we were just stalling over here, right? So that was one thing to note today. So if it was a little confusing, like what I should trade and how I should trade it, because for a second, once we made this high, right, this high came with this high, and then price sold off on VIX and it sold off on ES. We set this low, we took this low out right here, but this low that we made on ES was lined up with this little small high, which again, this normally isn't the case. We would have had an actual higher high or a lower high or a higher high at this same time, but instead we got this little wick, and then we pushed all the way down on that and then pushed up. And even here, when we made this low, we traded back into the 930 opening gap and we bought straight through it. We even gapped through it. But at the same time, you can see ES is pushing up at the same time, just like uh, NQ was pushing up at the same time. And then if we throw in Dow Jones, you can see Dow Jones was doing something completely different. We were actually selling off the whole day, and then we just bought up around noon on Dow. So we had no correlation for the most part of the day. S&P was doing his own thing, VIX was doing his own thing, Dow was doing his own thing, NQ was doing his own thing, gold was doing his own thing, dollar was doing his own thing, but it was just forced market movement all day long and stalled price all day long. So on the days like this, you probably can see, like, once we swept both sides, we probably wasn't gonna get an A+ setup out of today. And what's funny, like, even I told Anna, even ICT said that today was probably like a nine out of a it was a out of a 1 out of 10 scale. Today was probably a nine on how difficult the market was moving today, because it was just like just a lot of choppiness and up and down. And at one point, um, we even had some of the ugliest 4 hour candles you could probably think of. Let me go to what it looked like. If I go to the let's go here. And then let's do a replay because I wanted you to see. So this is Wednesday. So at one point, you can see this is the 1800 candle, the opening candle. That's a bullish candle. Then on the 2200, the 10 o'clock candle, that's a bearish candle. Then we had a bearish candle. This actually, this 6 a.m. candle ended up closing out like this. But at first, it was a huge, huge wick candle with no body and no wick on the downside. It was just a flat body candle with a long wick from the upside, and then this didn't exist. So it was like a weird, really, really weird price action where price stalled out for most of the day and was given like some real kind of misguided direction on how it played out. Let me see if I can get it to kind of show what it looked like. It was weird, man. It was really, really weird today.
Yeah, means I took same setup. I think number may be different, but position is same. So, but I was expecting because where I entered, it was a smooth low there and FVG also. So I thought 9:30 will go till there, and from there I can get some buy setup and I can
Yeah,
enter. But when it didn't took that, then I gave that FVG. Then I thought, okay, now it's time to enter.
yeah,
So I did that.
yeah,
Yes, definitely it was tough to read.
yeah. It was a really, really weird day. And then the trade that I actually got in, it took me two shots. I got in at 7-0-14 and 7-0-15. The first one I moved the stop loss a little too early. 14 got me in, and I end up closing out around 70-30, 70-30 area. So from 7 7017 or 7014 to 7030 was pretty much the whole trade. And then you can see once we got near this previous day high, we stalled out up above, and then we took out the high, and then we rejected back down. And this would have been a good setup for you if you were trading in the afternoon. But even this move right here, where we sold off really, really hard, that was about 10 points right here. This was at the same time the market was. So this whole move right here, let me zoom in a little bit. This huge like drop from 732 down to 720 happened with VIX only going from this little high to this little low. And the market sold off that strong, then pushed back. Just like here on this high to this low, we just went from here to here, and the market sold off almost 30 points just from this little move right here, right? So it's just kind of telling that the market was just being forced in the direction that it was trying to go to without having any real clean structure. So just when it's like that, I would say lower your risk. If you do take a setup, and one of the notes that it told me, that I saw, and one of the notes that I took was that if I'm gonna take a B plus setup, this was pretty much a B plus setup. I can still handle it like it's an A plus setup because if I, lower my risk, adjust my stop loss as needed, and then, realizing that I don't need to like trade in my main accounts on days like this. That's how you can take a B plus setup and make it an A plus setup when you do stuff like that. Because if you know, even with smaller lot sizes, this still could have gave me $1,000 trade, but I just didn't size in that way because it wasn't feasible. But at the end of the day, I got half of that, so that's still a good day. It's just not the day that you would have wanted to have, but the conditions didn't give you that. So you just take it how you take it, right? So that was today, man. I just wanted to kind of go over that. And then the rest of this week, we Monday, Tuesday, and today, we just had kind of straight up price action, man. We really haven't had a lot of pullbacks on the charts. And you can see over here, we gapped down on Sunday open and we made our low here. We just been straight up. Like there's no lower highs, I mean lower lows on any of the lower time frame charts, and definitely not on the higher time frame. You don't really get a lower low till you get to the 15 minute right here and right here. You can't really call this a lower low because we just stalled out and went sideways and then repriced higher. And that's been pretty much it. We haven't had a lower low on the 1 hour. I guess you can call this a lower low. Um, this is the closest thing to a lower low we had right here, 67, 67.25. And that did trigger inside of a fair value gap from the daily. So you had your gap open and then the gap high. We gapped down into the fair value gap and then we just ran up from there. But nothing else. We got a lot of imbalance that's been left behind. And I don't know if we come back into any of that before we get to the all-time high. So remember how we were talking about just like a week and a half ago, the the correction levels, right? And where we at on that? The correction levels. We have came off of these correction levels completely, right? So we were 10% down on Dow. When we were making this yearly low, we were about 12% or 11 and a half, 12% when we made this yearly low. And that was putting us at the yearly low. We were down 13%, right? And since then, we've already taken out 8.5% of that 13%. So we've pretty much recovered that entire move in the span of less than 2 weeks. So it's it just goes to show you that there's a lot of manipulation going on. That's really what you have to take out of this. And that's kind of why I haven't given out a lot of option plays because it's just hadn't been there until probably last week and week and a half. There's some setups that I would probably want to look at now, but overall, we've given up and corrected that entire 13 to 15% correction that we did on ES, NQ, and S&P. And here's Nasdaq. I think at one point we were down on Nasdaq over 15%. Let's go to the daily chart. And you can see we pretty much at the all-time high again already. So we've pretty much recovered this whole move from the low. Let me go back. So we were just at 15% almost, and we've pretty much recovered this entire move. The closeout, the high. So we were down 15%. Oh, wow. And we cleared that whole move. This was down 17% from the high. Oh, wow. That's crazy. We were down 17. We came back 16, 15. I'm sorry. So we pretty much recovered that whole move. We probably just gonna go ahead, take this high pretty soon, if anything, because right now we are only from the all-time high from the close. We less than 2% away from making a new all-time high. That's with the war still going on. That's with inflation going on. That is with the tariffs being turned around and saying that they're illegal. That's with the government still partially being closed. So we got a lot of negative news that really implies that we should not be as high as we are, and we should not have recovered the way that we have. But that goes to show you that they price in stuff regardless of what you think should happen, regardless of the news, regardless of what you feel like it should be. They price it in because that's what they want. It's not our decision. And that's kind of why we got to be biased going into our setups, right? And we got to look at it from where can we go bearish and where can we go bullish pretty much every setup that we take, because it's always the case that it could be a bearish setup even though it's looking like it's bullish, because we don't know what news could be coming out. We don't know what type of uh what's going to affect the market as far as the planned economic calendar releases. Yet we could get a tweet at any given time, and now whatever your bias was is out of the window. So that's kind of the situation we've been dealing with of late. We've been like, this morning was the China tweet. This morning, this tweet came out around 6 a.m. Let me find it. This tweet from Donald Trump came out at 7:46 a.m. And this basically saying China's happy that he's opened up the Strait of Hormuz. And it helps them basically and the world. The situation will never happen again. And they have agreed to send weapons to Iran, agreed not to send weapons to Iran. President Xi will give me a big fat hug when I get there in a few weeks. We are working together smartly and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? But remember, we are very good at fighting if we have to, far better than anyone else. And that was at 7:46 a.m. And then you can see at that time, where we at? 7:46 a.m. was about 7:46 was about right here. And then a few minutes later, we dumped on the volume on VIX, and then on ES, that's when we swept this high, roughly around here. And you can see we actually swept it right as the tweet came out. So that was kind of lining up. Like your plan, like my plan was going into the market today before that tweet came out was, there's an order block right here. There's a fair value gap right here. There's an order block here. We were already selling off, right? Before that tweet came out, I was like, okay, cool. We selling and look like we about to take out this low. You can see at the same time, VIX is pushing up, right? And then at the same time, VIX pushing up, we pushing down, we still in sync. We got a high, we retracing, and then we should push up from here. But as soon as that tweet came out, um, on Truth Social, we shot up, took out the high, traded back through this fair value gap and the order block. And then we were kind of balanced at that point as far as what we were going to do or what the pre-market idea was, it was basically gone. Yeah, like Shanika said, basically market manipulation again, right? Basically, that's exactly what it was. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with, and I was talking to some people today. I was talking to Wale and I was talking to Ocean, and I was just like, you want to say that you just like we saw that we made the yearly low a couple weeks ago, and you want to kick yourself because it's like, man, I should have got in at the low, but at the same time, it wasn't clean. Like it was just like one directional trading, no pullbacks, no clean entries. You would have just had to kind of do a break and retest setup and just hope that you didn't get in at a bad entry. And that's kind of really the only setup you would have had. Or if you're a swing trader, you bought and you just, followed the trend, regardless. But even then, a lot of the moves happen at really, really weird times, right? You had some stuff that happened at 7 a.m. You had some stuff that happened at after hours during London session. You see this happen at 7:45 a.m. So it's like, how do you even time your entry, regardless of what strategy you're using, right? Because it's just been happening so randomly. Even with the ceasefire deal, it was scheduled that Iran had until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last Tuesday. The actual message came out at 6:34 Tuesday, almost 2 hours before the actual ceasefire deal. And so, how would you have planned that? And if you weren't looking at your phone at the time or at the charts, maybe you had an alert, but by the time your alert triggered, the market had already shot up, uh, you know, 1,000 points, almost 3,000 points already. So, you know, you can't beat yourself up about it. You just got to go back, study it, and then use it to your advantage later. That's kind of the way that I approached it. So this week, I just been kind of studying. I took this one trade and that was it. So as far as uh as far as the rest of the week go, let me switch over. Let me switch over to this other screen. As far as the rest of the week goes, we still got Thursday and Friday left. It's not a lot of red candle news coming up for the rest of the week. I think we had our last red folder. I say red candle. I think we had our last red folder for the week yesterday actually. But for some reason unemployment claims isn't a red folder, but that probably should be. So 8:30 tomorrow. Watch out for unemployment claims, even though it is an orange folder on here. It should still be a red folder. So that'll be at 8:30 tomorrow. And then nothing else on Thursday. Philly Fed index at 8:30. Um, and then Friday, FOMC speakers in the noon hour to 2. But other than that, nothing else really. We do have a couple more earnings. Let me see what we got. We got Netflix tomorrow. TSMC, Schwab, Allied. We got financials on Friday before the market opens. So we still got some earnings, which earnings have been beating expectations so far, which is again, earnings are beating, but a lot of companies are doing major layoffs. Just just Snap just said that they're going to do 1,000 people layoff. You know, I think it was Amazon just said 30,000 people. So it's like, there's so many reasons why we shouldn't be making all-time high right now, but you can't go with what you think should be happening, right? You just gotta go with what you see happening. So no change on the Fed rate. I think we're still around 90, above 90%, 95%. So yeah, we're sitting at 98.4%. So the likelihood we stay at 3.75 is still high. Then we'll look at the COT report on Sunday. Should have the new numbers by the end. For some reason, we didn't get the 410 COT report. I don't know why, but I'm pretty curious as to what this number is going to be. It didn't get released for some reason because it should release every Friday at 3, but it didn't get released. Mm. Again, more manipulation. So, okay. So let's go ahead and look at dollar. The dollar ended up doing our 0 to 1. We pushed up at near this previous day high, and then we just sold off for pretty much the whole week. So we did the whole downside move for dollar for the downside. And then now we set the low on Tuesday and we're inside of the weekly low is inside of this daily fair value gap near pretty much near the midpoint, and that's kind of where price is sitting right now. So we could see this low get taken out and kind of bounce. There's a new week opening gap from a couple weeks before. That this 0 to 1 move, if we keep going to the downside, we could bounce at the 1 or the 3 after we sweep, after we trade into this new week opening gap. If we do push up, we need to get out of this fair value gap, and then you'll probably see us trade back above the yearly opening price. A 1-2 retracement would hold us at the yearly opening, and then we could probably go into the new week opening gap from this week. So this was the gap from this week, and we haven't traded in it since Monday at noon. And if we do push up, that's probably our likely target for us to go to. The 3 would give us a rejection inside of that. And then the 5 would get us back up to the weekly opening price and maybe above the high. But right now, all the momentum to the downside for dollars. So I would keep looking at downside momentum until we get back above like the yearly opening price and maybe start seeing moves take out previous day highs because we just taking out lows right now. So we gotta stay bearish on this until we start getting some highs taken out. And then gold has been pushing up this whole week. Same thing, we gap down. We set a low at 46.25 on the first hour on Sunday. We ain't came back to that since. And we just been kind of straight up, chop up. We chopped it up all the way here on Tuesday to set the weekly high inside of this volume imbalance where we pretty much got the high of the week right here, 48.95.6 was pretty much at the high of this in volume imbalance, 48.96.2. And we pretty much got our high right here. Um, and then we took out the previous week high over here, and then we traded back inside the range. But you can already see we set the previous day low from over here at 48.08, and then we had a swing high right near the middle of this volume imbalance, and we already looking to take that out. So we in the process of making this 0 to 1 move up What you'll probably want to see is if we don't just go ahead and take this high out, you want to see a down close candle right around 48.62. That'll be an order block to get us up out of here to go higher. Um, and that would look something like this candle right here, or these two candles. This is the weekly opening gap. These two candles or these series of candles are acting as order blocks so we can get up out of that new week opening gap. So, and price pretty much like held right around the middle and just went sideways until it was ready to go and tricked enough people into thinking it was going to sell off so they could just buy all of their sales up. So that's kind of the same expectation here. We've been hanging around the low right here at 48.28. And now we've we're coming out a little off the low into the midpoint, and then we should probably see some down closed candles. And if we get above those down closed candles, that's a sign we've pretty much mitigated this, and now we're ready to go higher. If we do get a rejection, it should probably happen around either the one, which is 20 the 49.30 to 49.50 area. Um if not, we get the bounce at the three, which takes us right at that 49.90 area, or we just go ahead and take out this previous day high. And we get the if we do get the retracement, we could possibly come back down near these highs, old highs, or into this volume imbalance and then bounce from there unless we want to start the new move to the downside. So the downside move, it would put us back in the gap and maybe into the daily fair value gap. And we could probably look for buys at the one or the three. Worst case scenario, we come all the way down to the five. There's another new week opening gap, but this is little less probable right now because we've been pushing up so high. But if we do fall off the map, we got to deal with this area again. And if we come in that area, it's a high probability that they might try to use that to take us higher. So all we can do is deal with probability because that's kind of all we got on our side right now because they just throwing the market at us like it's basically doing whatever they want to do. Oh, I didn't drop the gold and dollar in the chat. Just put it over here. Man, when Shanika came on the other day and she basically said the same thing about that journaling, I felt like Jesus had got on here. Like we had an amen moment when she said that. Because it was like she said the exact words that came out of my mouth. I was like, what?
We said hallelujah. When
Right.
when two agree, say amen.
Amen.
We went to church.
I was like, wow, we literally had just said that, man. So that was spot on. And then the next day, Trees got heard. Man, Trees called me from work, but she was all worried. She was like, "Do I need some more money? Do I gotta make some more money? Because I don't know if I passed it or not." So yeah, that was funny, but I'm proud of you, man. VIX, we open, we open up here. We gapped on the week. This big area right here is the new week opening gap. And when we set the high here for the week, and then we just sold off. So all of the volume that we picked up over this down move has pretty much been reconciled. And now we kind of hanging out near the low without any clear direction, right? We just made this little high, this inside of this volume imbalance, and then we set the low of the week. we took it out, we took out another low, and then we set the low of the week right here. There's a low from a couple weeks ago at 1712, and then there's another previous week low at 1675. So those are the most probable areas. So we got this low at 1784. We got this weekly low that we already made, that's at risk. And then these two lows down here at risk if we keep going to the downside. We could get a bounce from any one of those, but not really looking for that if we're so close to the all-time high. So that's why I'm thinking we go ahead and just take a couple of these lows that line up with the all-time high. So uh again, if we do get a bounce, it's gonna happen at the 1 or the 3, but I wouldn't be looking for that right now. Seeing as though they just forcing the market up. But if we do get it set up, look for it after we take out one of these lows over here. Um, the short-term low is here. We got a short-term high right at 1836, which is the new day opening gap from today. Was it today? Yeah, from today. And then the daily price is we pretty much came right and closed near the daily opening price. And this is the previous day high just below this 1863 level. So if we do try to push up, we're going to have to deal with this range between 1928 to 1863. So if we do push in that, we take this high and then we see what happens once we get in there. We could get a sell off at the 1 once we get inside of here. But if we do get a sell off and we don't start a new move, we might see price hold here at the 1863 level or at this new week opening gap. And then that pushes us up higher. We get up out of this and we get into the actual new week opening gap, which is this big range from 2117 down to 1923. And you can see us likely set highs at the low or the lower quadrant, which is right around 1975 area or 20.20 near the middle because there's a another gap as well we could be trading into. So, and then we could get the sell off at 3. But if we do get the sell off at 3 and we don't get a clean move to the downside, that could just be trading us back into this range or near this low. New week opening gap low. And then we go ahead and bounce higher from there. So again, it doesn't match up with what's going on right now for us to push up higher at the moment, but you know what to do if it does happen. Right now, we're so bullish on ES, NQ, and Dow, and that's looking like downside targets because we haven't broke a new day high or a previous day high on VIX since we gapped open. That was the last time we took out a high. But then now, as soon as we took out the highs, we took out lows after that. So the market already telling us it's going down on VIX and going up on NQ and ES and Dow. On Dow, there we gapped, we pushed up from the gap, traded through it, took out previous week high, traded through this fair value gap. We traded into this order block. We set the high of the week near the middle of the order block. The high of the week is 48,910 and the middle of the order block is 48,933. So about 23 points from catching the middle of the order block. And then we sold off, right? But we held above the yearly opening price and we held it on Tuesday. We held just above it on today. And then we pushed off of that and we're near the all-time highs. If we get above this previous day high, we could see ourselves trading above this on the 0 to 1, trading at or above this previous day high and the weekly high, and then um, trading through this order block. If we start seeing price again, we already got this down candle, these down candles right here. That's near the low. Once we breach this body, that's going to be a bullish order block that they can use to go higher. So this is lining up with this going higher. Then if we take the middle, we take out the weekly high, we'll probably see another order block, or they just use this one and go higher from there. And then that could give us the momentum we need to take out the daily previous day high. There's some highs in between here, but um I just rather focus on these whole numbers. The 49,500 area is basically where the three is, because that'll probably be the next area we try to sell off from, um, to get another move if we don't get it from the one. But again, because we're bullish right now, the 3-4 would probably come back into this order block and maybe using it to go higher. And then the five is right at the 50,000 mark. So, and we'll probably get some kind of reaction there. If we were to sell off, we would need to see the 0 1 take out this previous day low and this one. And then we would need to see price trade up under that yearly opening price. And then that puts us back into the new week opening gap. So if we do get below this, we still got some very bullish areas to deal with before. So a likely bounce is at the 1 or the 3. Worst case scenario, we trade below the weekly low and we get back into this fair value gap on the 4 hour. But right now, that doesn't seem as probable. So we just have to deal with what we got the card stacked up for. Um, tracking, tracking.
Yeah, tracking.
Um, I'm trying to get past my buffers, man, but it's hasn't been it for me this week and last week. I'm like, I was up 4,000, and on all five of my 300K accounts, I took a loss last week on whatever day. I think that was Monday, and then I took another one on Thursday. So I end up being dropping back to 1,500 in each one of those accounts. And then on the one of those trades, I shouldn't have even lost that one. I just mismanaged that one wrong, but because I won in the 150K account, and then I end up taking a loss at the end of the week. So it's been one of those weeks. This is I should have known when I had, I think I said it to myself. I was like, dang, I ain't lost or had a losing day in like 2 or 3 months. And as soon as I said that to myself, that was my first losing day. I should have said it, but should just noted that mentally and just look past it. But I didn't. So it's all good. It's all good. Losing isn't bad if you know why you lost, and if you know how to recuperate from it. So we got somewhat of a range, but this is the last sort of swing low right here. I didn't get a chance to mark this one up. And then that's the daily low from today. So that makes it our previous day low. Took this out. We traded through this order block. The order block now is potentially bullish. It's neutral. So if we do see the price come back down there, it's neutral now. So they could be buying from them same levels it tried to sell from. This 4-hour fair value gap is kind of out of the picture at this point until we see a bigger sell-off. So we are far away from the yearly. We have traded through this order block, which it was supposed to be bearish. It sold off from it here to here. It sold off from it here to here. But as soon as we got inside of this 4-hour fair value gap, you can see the low is at this upper quadrant level, 24,920 area, 24,914 and 24,926 were the lows. And then we just ran away from it ever since then. So um you can kind of just really let's look at the daily because we got this swing high right here. This is the target we can get in between. This is a previous month high, likely. Yep. And that is our most immediate target outside of the all-time high. So those two should be our main upside targets. This high from January and then the high from October. So we pretty much recovered the whole week at this point, whole drop at this point. So if we do get the 0 to 1, we trade above the previous month. We either sell off at the previous month, and then we start a new move to the downside, or we hold above these highs, and then the 2 takes us above the all-time high. Again, we could sell off at 3. If we don't get a new move to the downside, we hold somewhere near these highs. There's probably going to be a retracement move that gets turned into an order block, and that 4 we probably use that area. And then that takes us above the all-time high of 26,864.50, which was made back October 30th. And then we go to our 27,000 level and likely the 27,250 area to 300 area if we go above that. If we do sell off, we take out this swing low. See you, Shanika. See you. See you, Trees. Again, congratulations. Good luck on your test, Ari. Um, we do sell off. There's a lower time frame, fair value gap, and there's an order block, and we got this swing low. We would have to deal with that. There's another imbalance in here as well, and then we got the previous day low. If we were to keep going lower, we could see a bounce at 1. We could see this whole area is an imbalance on like the 4-hour and the daily. We could get a bounce from there at the 3. Worst case scenario, we come down into the yearly opening price again, and we tap that and we try to bounce off of that. If that's not the case, then we go into the order block that we traded from, and then we could bounce from that. So even if we do get a sell off right now, it's not ample for us to like try to really take that as a longer trend setup when we're so close to the all-time highs. So being so close to these all-time highs are probably going to go ahead and take that out before we make a significant move to the downside. And then last but not least, we got SPS, SPX. Let's go to the daily right quick. There's a little, we just took this high over here at 62. There's a couple of highs right here. At 78. This is February. That's a previous month high. And then I guess we can just throw this one on too. It's a little close. Previous day high. And those are our intermediate targets. And then this is our overall target over here on all-time high we made back January 28th. Basically, there's a lot of liquidity and there's a lot of liquidity in the fair value gaps on the daily chart that we haven't traded into since we've been pushing up. So with that being said, it's like you can see, okay, we got this fair value gap. If we go to the 4 hour, there's this fair value gap, this fair value gap. We got this one, we got this one, we got this one, this one, this one, and we probably won't be coming back into any of this stuff without having like a major catalyst to drop us into that before we take out this high. So we've already taken out the previous day high. So we got this little high right here. This will probably get taken out tomorrow. So we'll just go ahead and leave that short. This is the daily high for now. And then we have a lower time frame swing low over here. Um, and that's pretty much our range, right? And we do got this order block right here. We got this fair value gap. I'm not gonna put it on there charts though, but it is one there. So make sure you do consider it. But overall, again, we're only from this high, we're only 0.3% away from the all-time high. So the probability of us selling off, like doing a major sale right now, doesn't line up unless we get some kind of news that'll drive us. We cleared all of the upside move, as you can see. Um, so if we do get a 0 to 1, which it looks like we're doing already, we could just go ahead and take the high. Worst case scenario, we don't take the high, all-time high, but we do take these two highs. And then maybe we get a retracement here near the highs. But if not, we just go ahead and take it. And then If we get above this, we definitely go ahead and hit that 7,100 level. Maybe we get a shallow retracement, and then we start looking at the 7150 area, which is right up here. That would be my next point of interest. And then if we do get a sell off, maybe we get a sell off at the 3 or the 5. Let's just say the 5 for now. And then we come back down to the previous all-time high. Then if we were to get a sell off, it would probably be best if we got it after we took one of these highs. So if we get the sell off at the 3, let's just go with our normal. Um, if we do get a sell off, it's a lot of imbalance. So we could see price shoot down to any one of these imbalances before we get another bounce. So it's kind of a little hard to kind of gauge how far we should drop. But if I had to guess, we take out this little short-term low we got up here, and maybe we take out this lower time frame low that we got here. And then for the most part, we just kind of see what happens from there because anything lower than that right now, it is gonna take a catalyst to take it out of that range. And right now, we just don't really have it in our favor to take any big sales from these setups. Then, if we do get a bounce lower, we do get price pushing up on the 1-2 here. We use this as an order block, and we kind of probably bounce off the 1-2 from here. And if we can't go, this 1 hour fair value gap will be inverted. So this two could sell off inside of there. And then we could probably look for the 2-3 move, take out this low and maybe this low. Then we could probably look for another bounce, but not really seeing it yet. And then if we get the 3-4, it happens likely around this level right here, and we push up to go higher from there. And then worst case scenario, we get to 5, we come back down into this order block and use that, or even the yearly opening price again, and we try to use that. But we got to see how the market wants to play because right now all the smoke is pushing us higher. So I know it makes sense to you because it's making sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't do nothing that it ain't letting us do. So
Yeah. Means right now I have similar marker point to point. I
yeah.
did before market.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. So I guess everybody gone now, but it's
Mm.
just me and you, I think.
Yeah.
But if you ain't made it, yet, I wouldn't press hard for the rest of the week. I would just probably like chill out. And then Sunday is my last call for April. Um, because I will be getting settled in over in Bangkok after Sunday. Um, I won't be doing a call on Wednesday because I don't know what time I'm gonna land, and I don't know what time I'm gonna land. I don't know if I'm gonna have Wi-Fi and none of that stuff on Wednesday. So, um, if I
Mm.
don't let everybody know, please let them know I'm not gonna be on the call on Wednesday. So
Mm. Yeah.
Sunday's gonna be it, and for the rest of the month, because Sunday I'll do Sunday, but Wednesday I won't do Wednesday, and I won't do Sunday. the Sunday after that.
Okay. Then you will start again, then time will be changed, right? Or
Yeah, when I start again, it will let me look at the calendar.
yeah.
Let, let's look at the calendar. So I will finally land on the 22nd, and
How long
then
is the journey?
I leave on Monday. I got a layover in LA,
Okay.
and then we fly on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
We land on the 22nd.
Okay.
So that's why I can't do it on it's
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know how long it's gonna take us to get our Wi-Fi set up. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the call on a Sunday, which is the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything change, then I'll go ahead and set it up for the 26th. But right now, I'm just gonna say no call on the 22nd or the 26th. And then we'll hopefully we can be back and running on the 29th.
Okay.
So the 29th and the 30th. And then on the 3rd, we can go over our 12-week year
Okay.
on the 3rd. That should be settled by then. So that give you 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks almost.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. All right. All right.
And
All
what
right.
about timing?
Huh?
What about timing?
The time?
Yeah, because there is time difference between Atlanta and
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna be the same.
Same?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same. I'll just have to change my time.
Yeah. So means you will have to make it in morning, right?
Yeah,
For this call.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, Here's a way to know, like a lot of easy app, Time Buddy.
There is clock also, right? In means what how do I check?
I'm gonna
The,
show you what I got on my phone and what you can look at too. I always use Time Buddy,
no, okay.
and I can basically figure out whatever time I want. So let's change this to Atlanta.
Mhm.
That's here. And then let's get rid of Moscow and let's put in Bangkok. So this way you can always know what time it is and what to expect. So right now it's 8:46 here. It's 7:46 over there.
Yeah, 7:46 morning. Yeah.
So when I get on these calls, it's gonna be 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
on Sunday and on Wednesday. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's going to be 6:30 a.m. on Monday.
Monday. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so if we actually want to say, let's go to we said we're going to be back on the 29th probably. And we want to do the call at 7:30.
So that will be that your is one day ahead.
Yep.
Mhm.
So this will be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be 6:30 a.m. Bangkok time till 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's this window.
So according to this, your market will be open on your Monday evening, right?
Yeah.
Monday.
Sunday's open will be um Sunday open. So this,
Again, your Monday morning.
yep.
Uh,
So market open, pre-market starts on Sunday No, I'm sorry. So
I
market
mean,
open.
here 7:30, your will be then Monday morning.
Yeah, market open at 5 a.m.
Mhm.
on my time. So for me, it's gonna be cool because on for me, Monday, my trading day doesn't start until my trading day doesn't start
Evening.
until
Evening.
6 p.m.
Yeah, in evening, your trading day will start out since Monday evening.
Yeah.
But you will close later also. Like we will close here Friday, means 4 o'clock in
hmm
afternoon,
hmm
and you will be that will be your morning time,
Yeah.
Friday morning, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll still be trading Friday night.
yeah, exactly. So you
But
will close it later. So
but
you
if
are
all
getting
goes
Monday.
good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if
Means
I get a good day,
yeah, you are getting Monday morning free.
yeah. So if
Yeah.
I get a good day, this is what that
Mhm.
looks like, right? I
Mhm.
start my day at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
I get my pre-market in.
Instead of Sunday, you will start your day Monday, right?
Right, right. Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then right, I get my pre-market in at 7 a.m. till 8
Mm-hmm.
and going into the 9 o'clock candle.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get my setup around 9 to 10
Mm.
and I could be done by 9 p.m. By 10 p.m. worst case scenario,
Uh-huh.
and then I could be right back hanging out, you know.
Right. Right.
So that's what the hope is. That's how we hoping this play out. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then during the day I can trade London if I want,
Yeah.
because London open at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be 1 p.m. So that'll be this window right here, pretty much.
I think you and Vale will be almost same, right?
No, because he West Coast.
Okay. So maybe he's behind. You will be ahead, he is behind.
He is behind us here now. So San Diego, he is even worse.
Yeah, means 2 day difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for New York trading hours, this will be 6 p.m. for me, 4 a.m. from him, and 7 a.m. for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. If I ever had to get a job again, I would try to get a job on West Coast time, though. I know that for sure.
Mhm.
Because that means that I would be working these time frames from 11 to 7 or 11 till 8 a.m. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't ever have to do that no more. But
Mhm.
this is I just like this one because it just clean with it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have Indian time and everything like in my word clock
Hmm.
phone. So I just added your Bangkok also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's easy. Mhm.
Yep. 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 But it
Yeah.
is what it is. I'll still have the same number.
Uh-huh.
Um